What's up, Darrells? I hope you guys have been following different fans from all over India talking about, finally that positive season that we can now, show our faces to Liverpool and Chelsea fans. Otherwise, yeah, that was away for some time. So today we have two interesting guests. We have Kavan from Mumbai and we have Hriday from Bangalore. And they've been childhood United fans and obviously love the club to bits. What's up, guys? How are you today?
What's up? How are you? Doing well.
Yeah. How's Kavan doing, man? How's Bombay and everything there?
Bombay is the same, man. But as you said, I think if results went the other way on Sunday, I don't think any of us would be doing this call. So I'm very happy that we are all smiling on this call.
Oh yeah. Seriously, man. How tense were you guys in that game, or was it like easy to watch? I think I was super tense. How are you guys in that game?
I was
Yeah,
okay.
good. Whoever.
I was okay to be honest. I thought we were relatively in control for most of the game. There were a few moments, obviously, where it felt like they want to score and take it away. But overall, I'd say I was not as worried as I would have generally been. Also, because I knew, of course, a draw would give us the result, and so it felt like a typical, either a draw or God forbid they score last minute and ruin the occasion. But otherwise, I think it was overall okay.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, Kavit, what about you? What were you
I
tense?
I I was I was shitting bricks. I was shitting bricks because the last two matches we played pretty shitty, right? I think
Yeah.
FA Cup versus Chelsea was a horrible performance, and even I the draw before this match was in the Premier League was not a good match at all. So I wasn't very confident, and I think there was a lot of fatigue hitting our players, right? And that was visible in the
Yeah.
last two matches. Uh, I was scared that, and the first half was very cagey. So as Rida said, I was very scared that in the second half we will definitely concede a late minute goal, especially because Leicester presses high and our defense is not good enough. And amid sometimes make mistake, we saw Pogba in the previous match. So I was scared that we'll make a silly mistake, concede with maybe 10 minutes to go, and that's not enough time to then recover. Um, and I think a penalty was a lucky break, right? Even before that, there were
Yeah.
no clear-cut chances that we got. Leicester had the better chance of the game. So I was very scared. Or given also that at the stroke of halftime, Chelsea scored two goals. So that is also big news coming in for the players when they come into halftime. So I was scared,
Yeah.
but I think they really dug in and got a result.
I think that was more to Leicester to probably move on in the second half and be more open, and I think that's what they did in the second half. And dude, I didn't watch that penalty at all. That was like that PSG feeling all again. Like,
Yeah.
dude, that penalty was. I just stopped. Like, I just stopped Hotstar, and I'm like, just wait. You after the penalty, I'll go and watch it again. It was that bad, man. Oh shit, it was crazy. But we got it. We got that top four. We got the Champions League for the next season. So I mean, just go back to the start of the season. We got in a couple of big names in Maguire and Bissaka. I think they were pretty good signings. We got Bruno in the summer, sorry, in January window. But before that, there was this Ole out campaign, right? Like we didn't have good results at all. I think we were four defeats and five in January. We had a worst Premier League start, I think, in the recent times.
Yeah.
So Ole was really under the pressure, and somehow he's got it out. So what do you guys think? Like, is he still the right man to lead us to the title search? Hriday, what about that? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely think he's the right man. I'll back Ole, and I'll tell you, I think two main reasons for that is uh, the most important thing is that he gets the club, right, and he understands the United way. And we've had two established managers before in Van Gaal and Mourinho, and it had its ups and downs, right? They had some positives in their seasons as well, but overall it didn't work out. I think they weren't able to get the best out of the players and get our team to play as a unit, and most importantly, play the kind of United football that we're used to, right? The kind of attacking football. And I think Ole has shown signs that not only is he looking to sort of employ that kind of football, because obviously he is who he is, but also I think most importantly, we have shown that the team can evolve and grow. The very fact that we were where we were in January and been able to change the way we play and adapt, especially with Bruno coming in, I think is very promising sign that Ole has the capability of taking us in the right direction. So I would definitely say back him. But expectations definitely go much higher next season. So that's how I answer it.
I mean, what you said is right in a way. But what happens is, like, I mean, obviously now we have all these guys coming out. Even though we got that third position, all these critics, obviously Graham Souness is going to be one of them. He comes out and all these guys come out and tell like, okay, guys, like, yeah, it's just third position, but you're 33 points off
Yeah.
Liverpool, and you're like, what, 32? Like, we are closer to relegation than the top two. So where's the
Right.
progress? Like, you've not made any progress from the last season. So, Kevin, what do you think about that? I mean, is that fair on Ole?
I don't think it's fair because I think every season has a different context, right? Uh, and that not the previous season, the season before that, there were not clear runaway winners like a Liverpool or Man City. Every season has a different context, and I think Ole has taken steps in the right direction, right? We've had, as Rita said, we've had Van Gaal, we've had Mourinho. They brought down philosophy. They're all managers with high pedigree in their own right, but I don't think any of them got recruitment as well as Ole did, right? I think Van Gaal and Mourinho had many more misses than hits. And if you look at the signing that Ole made, Van Bissaka, Dan James, Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire, I can't think of any signing that comes to mind which Ole has got wrong. So he's clearly got a plan in place. I don't think it's just luck, right? I think the fact that he's going about recruitment in a systematic way, solving for positions that matter the most
At that point.
from an urgency point of view. And I think apart from recruitment, right, there's something else which Ole has done, which I have not seen any other manager do after Sir Alex, is player management. So for example, when Martial was going through a rough patch when we in the middle of the season, right, Ole decided, put a stake in the ground and said, no, Martial is going to be my number 9. He's going to play matches, and when he put that faith in Martial did turn up and eventually started scoring goals. Similarly, he played Dan James at the start of the season when he saw that Dan James had a good run of form. However, when he saw a dip, he immediately transitioned into Mason Greenwood, right, and gave Greenwood the playing time, transition him into the team. So I think player recruit two aspects of players, right? Recruitment and player management is something which I have not seen anybody crack since Sir Alex, and that is a very very big step in the right direction.
I'll
I
add
think,
one more.
yeah, go on.
I'll add one more thing to that, right? I think one argument that a lot of people might make is that, oh, you got lucky with Bruno, and just because Bruno came in and he is the player that he is, you've got the results. But it could have very easily gone the other way around. We've had Falcao's and Di Maria's in the past, but it takes a manager who can get the team to play as a unit and sort of get the best out of players. That's why he's made Bruno play the way he has, and the team has played the way, and we have got the results. And for me, it just makes it very clear that if we get the right players, and if the management is willing to sort of trust Ole and get the right players that he wants to sign, we can just move to better strengths. So I think that's indicative of the fact that exactly what Kevin said, right? Get the right players, recruitment, and then backing them and managing them to get the best results out of them.
I think that managing part and the timing part is solid, and I think it's evident from the fact that our front three has scored 66 goals,
Yeah.
more than probably the front three of Liverpool as well. And that only comes with some manager who can actually bring out, and he's a striker, so obviously he's going to bring out the best in terms of our strike force. But you saw Martial coming back. Rashford actually took it on himself when Martial was off and before Bruno came in. So he got those vital goals for us and those vital points for us, which actually mattered toward the end. So going into that context, Kevin, I'll say with you, who do you think? Apart, obviously, we all know Bruno's the superstar right now, so we're not going to talk about Bruno first. Who else do you think, right from the start of the season, was that impact player who actually got us that top 4?
I think hands down, and I think it's an underrated signing because people don't talk about it. I think Aaron Van Bissaka has been a brilliant signing, right? Right back was always a suspect position for us. I don't think Valencia was ever a right back that gave you confidence. Maybe he attacked well for a while, and in the latter phases he was a good defender. But there was there was no, that right back position had not been solved for us since a long time, right? We played Ashley Young for a while there. We played Phil Jones. I don't know why, for some matches there. We really struggled. Darmian was like a really makeshift sort of right back. Dalo is still raw. He's not ready for Premier League, and it is an important position because we do get a lot of balls in from that side. And I think Van Bissaka transition straight away into the team. I think he didn't take any time, and he was almost after midway in the season when we had a first patch of good games. It almost became so good that we didn't worry about that side of the pitch at all, right? He would just make so many tackles. He had Raheem Sterling in his pocket for the entire Manchester TV. I think Van Bissaka was a brilliant signing. Harry Maguire, actually, controversial opinion, but I thought he actually had a good season, right? Now you can argue whether he is worth 80 million. No, he's not. He's not a Virgil van Dijk. He's not going to lift the team up the same impact as a VVD does. But I still think he brought a lot of stability to the defense, which we lacked since many years. I think we've suffered many years of Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, Marcus Rojo, and it's good to see
Phil
finally
Jones. Phil Jones, boss. Phil Jones, man. I can't talk it.
and they're terrible, right? Like, I think all of us have suffered enough. And I think Maguire brought stability. He's calm, he's composed. Yes, he had his mistakes, right? He's not the quickest centre back. And there'll always be that argument when he makes a mistake, 80 million for the centre back. But I think it is a position that we've solved for right now. Dan James, fantastic signing. I think in the first few games he was the only one who was in form for us. He was the one getting goals and putting those balls in. So yeah, apart from Bruno, as I said, Ole is getting his recruitment right in other parts of the pitch also.
Yeah, I think just to add on, probably, I think our defense was probably getting criticized way too much. We still have like a meanest. I think it's the third most meanest defense in the league, and it's just 4 goals more conceded than Liverpool and City. So they've had a fantastic season, to be honest. And I think Harry Maguire has played every minute of the season, right? And I think he's fantastic. Like, I think towards the end, he also lost a little bit of probably composure, and I think he lost a little bit of legs as well. So I mean, you saw those mistakes coming in, but I don't think the critics justify him this season. Did they your impact players for the season?
Yeah, I think my pick would also definitely after Bruno be Van Bissaka. But I identified 2 more players, right? I think from an impact perspective, I'd say Mason Greenwood after the restart has scored some really crucial goals. And I think when someone that young is contributing that much, it's super. I mean, you can't be more thankful, right? It's not like some big signing that grabbed the headlines and has come and helped. It's just some guy who's grown up at the club and is helping. And the other player I'd call out is Scott McTominay. Before Bruno came in, we didn't really have a midfield. Paul Pogba he was injured, to be fair, but also he was, when he was there, also he was invisible. And I think he brought a lot of stability and leadership despite being very young. And I think he's been crucial at a point in time in our season when we otherwise had basically no stability in the squad.
I think, yeah.
I would actually add Fred to that, right? I know Fred was not signed this season, but I think he was like a new signing this season, right? I think he was a completely different underconfident player under Mourinho, and I think under Ole with Scott, we saw a very like focused Fred who didn't make those silly mistakes, who didn't have those mistakes that we usually associate with Brazilian players. I think he was almost like a new signing for us in the first half of the season.
But I mean, I'm just scared because obviously, like Pogba, Bruno, Matic. I mean, Matic is looking like the old Matic again for some reason. So I mean, I'm guessing Fred is going to get more game time with Champions League also coming in. So there's enough game time for almost everybody. So I think we do need that depth, and I think we're really lacking in depth. So going into that, like a lot of talk about Sancho, a lot of talk about Grealish coming into the squad. What do you guys think? Who's coming in? Who's going out of the squad?
I don't know who's going to come and go, but I'll tell you what I think we definitely need, right? I think my priority would be to get a better centre half than Lindelof. I think between Shaw and Van Bissaka and Maguire, we still look stable, but a lot of our defensive errors have come either because Lindelof didn't have the physical presence we need, and he definitely doesn't have the speed to compensate for Maguire either. So I think we can start by definitely getting a more solid centre half partnership going. The next place I'd definitely go to is a winger. Right now, Mason's doing his part to contribute. Dan James is also really young. I don't think they can be reliable for an entire season, especially with a season where we're going to now have Champions League football. So I would say we need a solid, reliable first team winger to start. And then I think the third place obviously becomes our midfield. It looks like on paper we have a lot of players with Scott, with Fred, with Matic, with Bruno, with Pogba. But the point you made, right? We've always thought this, but then one or two injuries. I think one injury with Bruno and we'll be back to an exposed place, right? If Matic is also feeling old or doesn't have the leg,
We'll be back to
we'll be back
Pereira.
to
We'll be
square
back
one.
to Pereira.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly back to Pereira, and that really says it all. So I think it would be foolhardy for us to not try and strengthen that place. Maybe we don't need a like a star signing. I think Bruno was good enough for that, but we should definitely get some reliable, maybe a Premier League player. Grealish is a fantastic example. Unfortunately, they didn't get relegated, so he's not going to be selling for cheap. But if we can get him, I think he'll add a lot more squad depth and would help. Yeah.
That goal was at least 20 million worth against West
Yeah.
Ham. So that's put out 20 million worth. Kevin, who do you think is going out of the squad? Like, do you think Mata, Lingard, Pereira? I think that Mata is going out for sure. I feel because he's not been he's been favored uh, against like Lingard came on, man. I'm like, still surprised. How does
Yeah.
Lingard come on for Mata? So who do you think is
Yeah.
going out? Do you think he's going out?
And I think before we discuss who should go out this, I think that's another area where Ole has done brilliantly, right? He's removed a lot of deadwood, which
Yeah.
who have made us suffer all these years, right? I think he took a hard call and he got criticized for it. He took a call that Lukaku doesn't fit into my philosophy, so offloaded Lukaku, Alexis, Chris Smalling. I think
Young.
even if it meant playing Fosu Mensah matches, I think Ole took a fantastic job. Seems pretty decisive in terms of shipping out Deadwood. This from the current squad, I think Jesse Lingard and Andreas Pereira need to go, right. Even if that means stepping up maybe a Josh Harrop or somebody from the academy. Um, these guys I think have got enough chances. Jesse Lingard is not a youth player anymore. He's like 25, 26. And honestly, to play for Manchester United, you need to have some qualities which stand out, right? Can Jesse Lingard in the million years replace the position where Bruno plays? Absolutely not. And Mason Green and players like Mason Green would give you confidence. Um, Keeping a Jesse Lingard or Andreas Pereira just is counterproductive in two ways, right? A, they are not going to give anything on the pitch. We've seen enough and more evidence of that. They are only frustrating on the pitch. And two, it will also deprive some youth players of opportunities which can actually come up through the system. So definitely these two. I think in the defense, I think there's one thing which people are forgetting, right? Alexis Sanchez and Chris Smalling are out
Yeah,
on
I just
loan.
remembered.
So
Yeah.
they're still on a wage books, right? They come back next season. I'm hoping the club gets a deal sorted and ensure that they're gone for good. I don't even know what is the situation with Phil Jones actually, but I hope at least these two are gone for good. I'm actually not that fussed about keeping Mata for another year. The simple reason he's a good experienced head to have around, and given in the God forbid scenario that Bruno gets injured, he's not a bad player to have in that number 10 situation. Of course, he's not a first option. But if we can't find a suitable replacement, because replacement will be expensive, I would rather have Mata there than have any of this Pereira Lingard around the club.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I think you mentioned about the academy products coming in or getting promoted. I mean, there are a few talented guys out there, right? Like we have the Garners, we have the Levitts. I think it's time they either get promoted or go out on loan. I think it's good. I mean, it's enough that they've shown in their talents in the under 23s. I think Josh Harrop has left, if I'm not wrong. I think he's left the club. But I think Angel Gomez left. So there are a few who are leaving, and it's probably the reason why Lingard, Pereira, all these guys are there, and that's the reason probably they're leaving the club. So it's high time that's the next lot of deadwood that they have to really remove. And I think Ole will do that. He's pretty good at that and pretty good at managing players in that aspect. Uh, uh, like probably going on further from this, are we becoming an Arsenal and going to be satisfied with the top four? is top four trophy going to be enough next season? Who wants to go for that?
I'll take a stab at that. I don't think so. I think it'd be foolish to assume that we can win the league next season. I think we're very far away. If you look at the quality of the Premier League winners this year and last year, and I don't think we can expect to get there so quickly. But I'd be very disappointed if we weren't contesting for the title next season right till the end, right? And that it doesn't need to be second or third. It's more about being in it right till the end. I think because we as United fans, since Alex have not even had a taste of what it's like to be in the title race. And I think I don't care if you win the FA Cup or the League Cup anymore. I don't care if you win the Europa. Uh, thank God that's not even an opportunity next year. We definitely can't win the Champions League. So I would, as a fan, I would at least want to know till the last match day that there's a chance of us winning the league. That's I think my number one priority. Second would be in the Champions League, anything short of a quarterfinals finish would be bad. But obviously you would want to at least reach the semis or the finals. But I would say that's bare minimum expectation as get through the group stages, at least get to the round of 16. And then, if either of these aren't working out, then I think you should be looking at either of the cup competitions to try and get the cup. But that shouldn't be the priority. I think we've got a couple of cups already under our belt in the last 7 years, and we need to graduate now and move away from what an Arsenal would be aspiring for, and really go for the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin, like, do you think, like, I mean, obviously you mentioned about league being the top priority, at least contesting for the league, right? I mean, obviously 33 points, you're trying to reduce the gap in that aspect. But how realistic do you think with our squad right now, and say we miss, say, because obviously United always miss transfers, the crucial transfers at the right moment. So how realistic do you think it is in the next season? Do we go for the Champions League or do we go for the league? Basically.
Given the current squad, I think that there are two factors, right? One is there is sort of exogenous factors. I don't think Liverpool will be as good as they were this season, and we did see that the Salah, Mane, Firmino trio got more goals the season before than last season, and I think they'll actually dip even further next season. I don't think City is going to get any better. People have figured out Pep Guardiola's team. I think next season will be even more competitive. So I think from an external point of view, that actually works in our favor. But from a more internal, intrinsic point of view, I think Ole needs 2 or 3 signings.
Yeah.
He needs a left back. He needs a right winger, and he needs a centre back. If we can get, unless we sort out these 3 positions, I don't think we are still ready for a title, for a confident title charge, or for Champions League. I think is far off. And given and the reason I'm not very confident is because Ed Woodward just finds a way to overpay and sign players one transfer season late, right? Um, but to your earlier question of are we going to be a Arsenal or a top 4 club? I think the standards that have been set for Manchester United by Sir Alex reflects in the sort of way the fans and the players and the management reacted to third position. Right? I think third position is a fantastic achievement given where we were in December, Jan. But at the end of at 90 minutes on Sunday, you didn't see anybody running around, jumping around. And we've seen that from Arsenal, right? We've seen that from Arsenal over the years. Whenever they came through, they pretended like they won a trophy. I didn't see that. I didn't see that on Sunday, right? I think of course, everybody was elated, but I don't think Ole or the players were celebrating as if we won the Premier League. And I think that's heartening to see that the standards and the expectations are still in the right place.
I think Maguire came out and told that, yeah, we just got the minimum objective sorted. So yeah, we have lots to go. I think that's where the club is, and I think the club is really, really looking forward to something bigger. And I think that's something that we should also, as fan base, probably look forward to. Good days coming up. We have the Europa coming in. I know that Europa is not something that we want, but I think there's that
we should
trophy
go for
that
it.
we
Yeah.
need this year. Yeah, I know. And I think with top four sorted, I think we have an even bigger chance to get Europa. And I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited for beating Inter, beating Lukaku, Young, and Sanchez together, along with Conte. Obviously, we hate him. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be great. Thank you guys for being on our channel. It's been a super talk, super fun talk. I hope you guys are going to be there again for Europa. We're going to have a lot of chatter because now we're back in the Champions League. We've got a lot of things set up or coming up in the channel as well. So looking forward to see you guys more on our channel. It's been a fun talk. Thanks, Videy. Thanks, Kavan.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us, man.
All right,
Thank you.
boss. See you guys. Thank you guys for watching the video. Please do follow, like, subscribe, share it. If you have any comments on the review for the
Scott McTominay!